And welcome back to the Art of MMA and podcast on Kick and Post. I'm your host, Amal Thompson. I am with,
You were with Roger.
yes, sir. And we have not been back since the UFC Belgrade card. There's been that card completed and UFC Apex Salkilld versus Gamrot. We're going to start off a little bit with the Belgrade card, going over some of the stuff we enjoyed there. Finishes, as you expected, with all the guys kind of fighting for spots to hold the roster. I think guys went for a little bit more. Not only that, I think there was 9 first-round finishes, which is a UFC record for a card.
It did set the record.
Yeah, it did. It had the record for most finishes and the record for most first-round finishes. To get into some things we liked, because we're not going to cover every single finish.
Right.
The women did well. I think more than anything, I want to see a little bit of stronger competition for Nina Milosevic. When I was watching that fight, I thought she would finish Haley Cohen in the first.
Mm-hmm.
She did.
Yeah.
But what I did see was a lot of overextending on strikes.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't really worried about anything, coming back rightfully so. But against a more skilled fighter in there, I did not like how she set her shots up.
Yeah.
And to kind of piggyback off that, it's the same with Jovan Leka. I think he did a good job of getting Alexander Popik out of there, but it was a light heavyweight that came in very undersized, and he also didn't set his shots up very well either.
Right.
It was just a lack of competitive danger from both these prospects, and they do what they're supposed to do against people who are way less skilled than them.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Not to piggyback again, but same for Rebecca, except I think he executed a lot more flawlessly on his finish. But there was just no resistance, right? Like,
yeah,
fantastic, but I'm still holding my breath for the next challenge for all three of those fighters. I don't know if you view it the same way, but how did you view especially those three?
So the heavyweight one, where Popik got knocked out,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was moving well with them, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
He just couldn't. As soon as he got touched with some power in there, it was a lot for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's light on that, which is hard for some of these guys, but I think he's probably a firm light heavyweight. He just doesn't have the mass, even though he's a real big dude. But the mass for heavyweight is going to give him problems. But he was moving around really well. Maybe if he shores up some of those skills, he might fare okay up there. Get some more experience and then jumps up. Maybe that'd be okay for him. But right now, I thought he was pretty even with somebody at this level. But if you jump up in competition, he was kind of even till he got knocked out, which is kind of crazy to say. But they were going back and forth. But I think if you get better competition than that, it's going to be rough for him. Milosevic, quick, energetic. I did see the overextending. I think she's got a lot of potential. She's going to need to jump up in competition, definitely, to challenge her. I think that low level is too low for her. She needs to go up, which is going to force her, as you were saying, to tighten up. She's going to have to tighten up her game because she will get caught by somebody, in the higher echelon of that. She's going to get caught. But she's energetic. She's strong. She really did appear to be strong and has good ringsmanship. So I think from that perspective, she's got a lot of possibilities. And with the women, it's a quicker way to the top. So, but she needs to shore that up. Rebecca pretty much did what I thought he was going to do. He was a huge favorite in this, but he needs that step up. I don't really have much to say about that. He pretty much did what I expected him to do.
I mean, the competition he was fighting previously to fighting this guy, so that's part of the trap, right? Like, obviously Vegas knew, but Rebecca's level of competition has been high level the last 3-4 fights, hence the 1-3 or whatever he was coming into this one.
Mm-hmm.
While the other guy did not have strong competition and was also facing the same 1-3, 0-4 coming into this fight.
Yeah.
Those things matter, right? And I think what Rebecca got was a night off, essentially, when it comes to having to worry about danger. And Prepelic could have been out. That fight could have been called numerous times in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
They decided after taking a bevy of elbows to the head to finally get him out of there.
Yeah.
I think Prepelic is on the verge of getting cut. And I think Rebecca is unfortunately going to stumble back into high-level fights. Or fortunately, even the ones that he's lost, there have been some bangers, right? It's just, it's hard to be one of those guys who are kind of like a resume patter for some of the really, really competitive guys. You know, and we're talking lightweight, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Salkilld win.
Yeah.
Salkilld win, right? But that lightweight division in the top 10, top 15 is getting really, really, really crowded. And they're going to,
I like it.
One of those guys at the back end are going to get Rebecca, and he's going to have to face one of those dangerous dudes.
Yeah. And
again, he's exciting, but we've seen him against high level comp, and that's how that 1-3 in the last 4 came to be. So good win for him. I'm saying Prepelic's going to get cut, but there's fighters that I thought were already cut or have been cut, and I'm hearing fights announced for them.
I mean, didn't Ty just get another fight? Tai Tuivasa?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, that's a good call out right there. So I don't know. I guess we'll see, man. Going into the next couple, I'd want to leave Borislav Nikolic for like his own little portion because that fight was pretty crazy. I don't know if you remember that one in detail. But
hold on. Which one?
Borislav Nikolic versus Mark Vologden.
Oh, yeah, Vologden. Yes.
Yeah, fight was pretty wild. But
yes.
Denis, I don't know if I'm gonna get this right, but Bazusha.
Yeah.
Versus Bogdan Grad.
Yeah.
Tough way for Denis to go out.
Yeah.
Tough way for Denis to go out.
Yeah, it was.
Was not a tap. He knows it wasn't a tap. Bogdan said he didn't even feel a tap. I understand where the referee's coming from. I'm not here to rag on the referee. Denis ended up in a very poor position, and the tides were shifting. First round was a very, very heavy Bogdan Grad. Making it out of the first round kind of, I think, deflated Bogdan Grad a bit. And plus, he had also utilized so much energy in that exchange that Denis was really getting ahead on the cards in round 2. But then there was a ground exchange, and Bogdan got him pretty comfortably in a hold. And when the hold is visible from the ref side and he can't tell what's happening on the other side, and your hand gets to fluttering in a somewhat tapping motion, his job is to protect you.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think if it goes 3 rounds, Denis is fighting a very, very strong fight. These back 2. I initially had Bogdan Grad by finish. I will not lie. After the second round started and I saw how deflated Grad looked in a lot of those exchanges, I tried to hedge my pick with Denis by decision because I figured that's how it was going to go. Grad got the finish, but I think it was very competitive, and I think Denis should get another similar level fight, or they should run this one back, honestly. I know Bogdan's probably good with not, but...
Remind me on this, because this is the one where he had him in the head and arm choke, right? And he left his leg up on his body. He was getting between him and the fence. And as he went to push the leg down, his hand kind of fluttered and it looked like a tap.
Yeah, because Grad's pretty much... Denis is practically out when the ref, like, out of the choke. Like, almost escaped the choke close.
I don't know about that. I kind of think Grad finishes that choke where he had him, because he had just opened. He had let him get himself away from and help kind of force him away from the fence. And as soon as he got away from that fence, that opens him up to be able to get between his body and the fence. And once he does that, he just needs to get his body out and keep going and lay down with it. He just didn't get his leg off of there. And I kind of think he might have finished that. But
is even Grad was kind of caught off guard by it, and he's smart. He let go immediately and ran off. Like, he didn't let it be a question, right? But you can't. I can't rightfully say, especially after seeing it's a completely different practice, but
Yeah.
especially after what I was seeing in the main event of this week, how a submission could look dangerously there and not
Right.
be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's gotta be clear and definitive for me.
No, I definitely agree with you. I was more disagreeing with if it went 3 rounds. I just still don't think it goes out of that second round. But I will say when you slow it down, doesn't look as much like a tap. In real time,
Yeah, it could be viewed.
all
I'm
the
not blaming the ref at
announcers,
all. Yeah.
when I first saw it, I thought it was a tap. So I understand the referee calling that one.
I
No,
didn't think it was a tap, but
you didn't think it was a tap at first? I thought it was a tap at first.
I thought he was kind of like motioning towards the leg. I did see the hand flutter, but it didn't look like it touched Grad. And then when they called it a tap, I was like, did he?
Yeah.
And then
I thought it was. The moment I thought that it wasn't was as soon as he got up.
Yeah.
Denis sat up because he knew like he was protesting it right away. And as soon as he did that, I was like, okay, let me see that again. Because a lot of times they don't protest it when, that some will protest it even when they tap. We've seen that before. But most other people are not going to protest it so much when they tap. So that whenever somebody taps and says they didn't tap, like I'm automatically want to see it again. And when when you do slow it down, I think that it was probably not a tap. He was probably just trying to get his leg and get himself in a better position. But it's tough breaks. Good moment for Grad in the stands when he meets his wife up there and they show it and he picks her up.
Getting
very nice moment for him. Which fight you want to go to next?
I am gonna go to the Michael Oliveira fight. So,
oh my gosh,
I'm going to also pivot a little bit into from a dabbler's perspective, a gambler's perspective, right? Michael Oliveira first round finish was like plus 260.
Yeah.
If I had the capital and the wherewithal to just throw heavy dollars at odds like that based on what I see, that's how some of these crazy dabblers really get ahead. Because, like, I watched the film, I watch Oban Elliott. I know people love Oban Elliott, but I think my mantra, and if I'm going to put a quote on a t-shirt at some point in this podcast's life, is sometimes athleticism just beats out skill. And I'm not saying he's not skilled, but the length and the power, it looks like a jab. He sat Oban Elliott down a couple times with what looked like very little effort, right? And for him to be plus 260 to knock somebody out in the first round, seemed a little bit odd to me, right? Same with a couple of these finishes. Like, the writing was kind of on the wall for some of these, right? Jovan Leka, first round finish, plus 110. I think first round knockout, plus 200. Nina Milosevic, which I did hit, was plus 950 for first round TKO.
Wow.
I threw $15 on that.
Nice.
It was a nice little comeback. Actually, no, I think it was plus 1,000. I might have to go back and check. But it's a women's fight. Nice. So that's first off. Secondly, like it was a 7-5 fighter who'd been finished in the first round previously. Like, sometimes they give you a lob, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not financial advice. This is not a definitive. I'm just saying sometimes you look at stuff on film and you're like, I'm seeing a pattern. I'm seeing something that makes sense, right? And Michael Oliveira by finish made too much sense. I felt like if it got out of that first round, much like Atiba once he faces some stronger competition, much like some of these guys who are very muscle bound, and we don't get to see too much of the down the stretch, right? It's a little bit, if you're picking a guy to win, you need to also pick how he's going to win.
Yeah.
To kind of maximize that pick sometimes, right? Like, the writing was on the wall. If he was going to get Oban out of there, it's probably going to be by finish pretty early before those lactic acids started to sit in those massive muscles, and Oban could kind of work the skill down the stretch. And no offense to Oban, he's skilled, but he was 12-4 before this fight.
Yeah.
All right? Like, not necessarily a world beater.
Right.
So to speak. A good test for somebody who they're worried about. And he showed why they wanted him to be tested he's going to be a problem for this welterweight division if the power is what it looks like.
Is it too early to compare him to Michael Morales?
No, it's not.
I think he's
You think
got
he's that big of a weight
concrete
bully,
in
though?
his hands.
Because
He didn't seem to be
like a welterweight to
a
me.
weight bully.
He looked like a welterweight to me.
Yeah, I will say that he did, but he looked every bit as powerful as most of the people that you see in there. When you can sit him down with a jab like he did,
yes,
I know a well placed punch can do that even with a jab, but I mean, he didn't just knock him off balance. He didn't just he pushed him across the cage with that jab.
Mm-hmm. He did.
This was not a small thing. I'm excited for his future. I think he's got. We'll want to see what he does in grappling. I don't know what his grappling abilities are. This was my first time seeing him fight, and I was highly impressed. So
I was very impressed.
We will have to see where he goes from here. Doesn't mean he can keep it up, but very highly impressed.
I need to see him against somebody actually high level, right? So
yeah.
I'm holding my reservations.
Well, and you kind of had that with Morales until he got in there with Sean Brady. You even still kind of have that with Atiba until he gets in with somebody super high level.
I want to remind everyone who took Morales first round finish in that one as well.
Yeah.
You could go back and track the video. But yeah, I'm excited for what that. Again, welterweight's also a division that's freshening up. A lot of the old heads are leaving to go be either middleweights or, figure out what they're going to do. He'll be some fresh blood in there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it'd be exciting to see him go. Leaving Borislav for last in this prelim talk. I do want to talk about Tefik Masayev, Roger's favorite fighter. If it's not a point taken, it's legal. Right. What I will say is he did not do anything like that this fight. He just came in there and gave Lodovic Klein the business.
Yeah.
He looked phenomenal.
He looked great.
It was impressive. And in a lightweight division that is getting stacked, he's going to end up against one of these top 15 guys too. And he might be a tough challenge for him, man.
I think he is a tough challenge.
I think I texted you because you weren't even available to watch the fight, but I just had to be like, Tefik looks great.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I stayed away from this fight as a guy who was dabbling that morning, but I was like, he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all I really want to add. I don't have any I don't think Lodovic did anything really wrong. I think he probably felt how explosive Tefik was in there. I think he probably understood that the area that he was supposed to have the advantage in, which was the striking.
Right.
He did not have the advantage there, and a lot of fighters, not saying he crumbled in on that, but once it becomes pretty clear where you're going to stand in the fight, it's hard to pick yourself back up, right? It's hard to kind of get back on the I guess the horse, so to speak, and kind of get back in there when you're being outworked in all aspects of the fight. Unless you're Mark Vologden. Unless you're Mark Vologden, which I'm ready to talk about this fight now.
Okay. Hold on. So let me go back with Tefik real quick.
Okay, yeah. Give me your Tefik take. I didn't know if you went back and watched it.
Oh, I did go back and watch it. Okay. I did not know that he had the accolades in the striking that he had. That kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. I've seen him fight and he was good, but I did not think that he was going to be able to hang in this fight in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
Because his opponent is very good. And I've seen him and he was very impressive. But Tefik was rising lightweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Grand Prix champion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the lightweight Grand Prix champion. And then he did a lot of fighting back in his home country. He's just got much deeper background than I realized he had at his age. And he looked sharp out there. He looked in shape. He looked incredibly well conditioned. And just his striking was so much better. And when you've got a striker at the level of Klein, I mean, to go out there and outstrike him like he did was something very impressive to watch.
Forced him to
Tefik,
practically just bend the knee.
yeah. Klein was trying to get stuff going. It wasn't because Klein was just having an off day. It's because Tefik was making him have an off day.
Correct.
Very impressive. I did not know he was in Rising before this. I didn't know he had been the Grand Prix champion. I didn't know he had a background in striking like he does. It was nice to learn that about him. Because when I saw him doing that, I looked him up. I was
It
like,
started
okay,
making a lot more sense.
what is going on here? He should not be able to have this success against this fighter. And he absolutely did. And had I know that ahead of time, I might not have went with who I did to win this fight.
I would have still went with Klein because I had
Yeah.
my own reservations for Masayev that wasn't even fight related.
Okay.
He just ticked me off with a lot of the fouls and stuff from the last time I viewed him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see somebody kind of just get in there and work him, and it did not happen. So
Yeah.
we'll be viewing Tefik Masayev with different eyes the next time he fights. I'd probably still be a little bit, depending on who's fighting him, I'd probably still be a little bit like, get him out of there for me, because I don't like cheaters. But I know for Roger's perspective of, do what you can until the ref tells you not, he'll be on a run. So
yeah, he will.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
But listen, if the ref's not going to call it,
It's not a foul.
then
You said it.
I
didn't
mean,
say anything. I agreed. You said it. If the ref's not going to call it, it's not a foul.
I'm not condoning it. But
You
also,
kind of are. You are a little bit.
If you're going to be able to get ahead by doing that, and the ref's not going to stop you, you're not going to be the only one trying to get ahead by doing that.
Facts.
So until they start calling it, then they've got a problem on their hands.
Borislav Nikolic versus Mark Vologdin. Now, I will say, fight opens up. Borislav, they did not count it as a knockdown, which is crazy. But Borislav runs full speed towards Vologdin, recklessly, hands down. Vologdin drops him.
Yeah.
They didn't give credit, but Vologdin drops him. Like, damn, because I had Borislav Nikolic.
Did they call it a slit?
Well, up here, there's no knockdowns for Borislav, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Because that looks like a clear knockdown to me, right? But Borislav ran up recklessly. Actually, no, they did give it to him. Correction.
Okay.
They said Borislav had no knockdowns, which I feel like is also a lie. But he recovers fairly well, sprawls, wrestles, and as soon as it gets back from that one initial exchange, one-way traffic. Granted, Vologdin was able to keep it competitive, stay at range, stay at bay, but for lack of a better word, Borislav started to style, especially the last round to round and a half.
Yeah.
Now, what I would like to say, he looked impressive, super impressive in those later rounds, but Vologdin has crazy heart.
Yes, he does.
Crazy heart. Like, brother, how do you hang in there with all the damage and everything you're taking, and you just, again, it's almost like daring him to, what else does he have, right? I was impressed, thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
I'm a fan for sure.
Yeah.
It's rough because he's 12-5-2, but you expect the short notice guy you get to be somebody beatable, and unfortunately, you're in Serbia, in somebody's hometown, who should possibly already have somebody higher level than you to fight in the promotion.
Yeah.
And there you are. It's tough. It's tough. Good win by Borislav Nikolic, but I think Mark Vologdin deserves another chance at somebody a little bit lesser level.
I think he did himself some favors. I think he showed.
Yeah.
I think the fans enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed watching the fight because he just would not go away, and I love that when a fighter just stays with it and sticks with it.
Yeah.
it kind of sucks for him because how much beating are you going to take? But as far as showing the heart, like he's got it in spades, and anybody who fights him is going to have a hard time getting him out of there.
I think it's also partially my fault because this is the second time now where I've taken a fighter to win by finish, and they work the dude all the way to death's door practically, and the dude just won't go out,
Yeah.
right? And it's these Eastern Europeans. It's the Mark Vologdins. It's the Butcher the week before, Rezepki,
Yeah.
where they are taking the most damage in the world, eating toes, getting
Yeah.
choked out for 15 seconds straight, and they're just not quitting.
Yeah.
I you'd think I'd be upset, but no, I just become a bigger fan of these guys because
Yeah.
I don't understand how they hold up in there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think the prelim was way more exciting than the main card. I do. But what I will say
Mhm.
is Gilbert Urbina allowed us another opportunity to take him by first round loss in the future. No, let me stop being mean. But the fight against him and Chepo.
Yeah.
Upon review and upon you enlightening me a little bit, Chepo was definitely available to be hit. I was a little bit too
Mhm.
confident in the Urbina issue. But Urbina showed levels. He showed patience, right? And he showed the ability to catch Chepo coming in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Landed not even a hook or anything. I think it's just kind of a straight jab, using Chepo's momentum against him.
Mhm.
Another thing I didn't realize, Chepo's a welterweight going up to middleweight. I should have
Yeah,
been
I
more
thought
aware
he
of
looked
that.
super small
Yeah.
in
He
there.
definitely looked small against Urbina. Good landing, and then Urbina just kind of finished the job.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct, loved it. If any sicko took Urbina by first round finish, congrats to you. It was a fun morning.
Yeah.
I don't really have any notes. I don't think this puts Urbina in the mix in the middleweight division. If anything, he gets a very difficult fight next. Per his standards. I'm not saying they're going to give him anybody ranked, but there's
Right.
some up and comers in that middleweight division that they might drop him off to see if he can replicate
Yeah.
what he did or give a fun fight. And those middleweights, it's tough. It's tough
Yeah.
once they give you one of the serious ones. So, kudos to him. Good win.
Yep.
Any take on that fight at all?
I don't know. I don't think this does Seppo any favors.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's a welterweight does make me feel better. I know the highlights I saw, he looked big compared to his opponents, and when he was in there against Urbina, he looked small, like very undersized, and I did not know he was coming up in weight. But Urbina went up in weight. Urbina had been a welterweight, and he talked about coming up in weight actually helped him. And we've talked about sometimes that weight cut can hurt some people, and other people it helps. If it was something that was hurting Urbina to get down to welterweight, um, he could end up doing some things at middleweight that are more impressive than what he did at welterweight. He might find a lot more success. He alluded to training with Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
And so he comes out of that camp and he is looking to have some success at middleweight. We'll see what this does for him as it gives him an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee him anything. It just gives
Nope.
him an opportunity because he probably gets cut if he loses that fight.
Yes.
And this gives him at least one more opportunity, probably. And as far as Seppo goes, I mean, that is his speed. What he did there, that's what's on all his highlights. That's what's, when you watch him fight, that's what he does. He swarms you, but he leaves himself open to be hit. In that one in particular, I just didn't think Urbina was going to be able to take advantage. I thought the swarm was going to be too much. He obviously proved me wrong. And so we'll see where he goes from here. Seppo, I don't know. He didn't seem to show a lot of skill, did not seem to know what he was doing on the ground. So if all he's got is swinging like a brawler, I don't expect him to stay around very long. So we'll see.
Now, if anything, it definitely he was a fit for the Serbia card for sure, right?
Yeah.
Because then you one way or another, somebody's going out. He's going to make it somewhat exciting. Not really a position specialist by any sense of the word, but going forward, like taking him to a bigger card or something, probably be a sacrificial lamb. to
Yeah.
somebody they want to see do something special. So,
Right.
speaking of sacrifices, Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Sterling.
Oh
Um,
man.
I want to talk about that one because we disagreed on how that would go. I think. Um, I had the savvy vet doing savvy vet things, and for about 20 seconds, it looked like the savvy vet was going to do savvy vet things. Uh, I did think if Navajo came in here and fought freely,
Mhm.
that would be his best opportunity to
Yeah.
win because he's a better athlete, with better measurables at this point in his career than Jan. And
Mhm.
43-year-old Jan coming off of knee surgery is
Yeah.
it's tough to ask him to keep up
Yeah.
with somebody of, again, Navajo stature, um,
Right.
length, speed. Like it never
Yeah.
was a good situation if you got, again, carefree, ball of fury, utilizing the skill set that he has the advantage at, over Jan. And he did that.
Mhm.
I didn't think he would, but he did.
Yeah.
It took him kind of getting popped on the chin to realize, like, this is real, which it happened really early, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as he got himself out of that situation, he used those measurables and he demolished Jan. it
Yeah.
was it was rough.
Yeah.
It's a good win at 11-0. I think there's still stuff I'd like to see out of him, especially when the measurables become a lot more even, right? Like they give him a light heavyweight with a little bit more. I don't want to say durability. I think the
Mhm.
fight I would love to see is him versus Paulo Costa, or
Paulo
uh,
Costa.
yeah, yeah. I would like to see him versus
Paulo Costa's
Acosta.
going for a title.
I know, but like that, I'm again, and maybe I'll get cooked in the comments on TikTok again, but I'd like to see him against, because this didn't do much for me, and I mean,
Yeah.
obviously for him, it does great things. It's a former
Oh
title
man.
contender and all that stuff, and he could kind of speak that into the next fight, but I want to see him against somebody who compares athletically and skill set wise, right? He obviously has too many people up in that top range that he can't mess with either. He already came out and said he's not fighting Robert Whitaker and he's not fighting Carlos Ulberg because those are teammates.
Well,
So the list is getting very thin.
he wasn't in the
Um,
Carlos Olberg round, but how do you feel about Dominic Reyes? Because they've got Navajo Sterling at number 7 right now.
I
Because he
think
jumped
Dominic
up.
Reyes gets finished by him.
Oh, I think he
think,
does too. But he's a
yeah.
little bit bigger. He's a little more experienced. He's got
I
oh
guess you could do Dominic Reyes. I think Khalil
um
Roundtree could take that fight as well. Um,
or Guskov, who just
I
got
think
beat.
Guskov coming off the loss, but that doesn't do much. I think
Yeah,
Guskov was a fill-in for Blachowicz, I think,
yeah.
right? It's just,
For Roundtree, wasn't it?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
he was a fill-in
Roundtree.
for Roundtree.
He was a fill-in for Roundtree, but it was supposed to be Guskov versus Blachowicz. My bad. And that's how Navajo stepped in because
Mm-hmm.
Guskov, yeah, went up to take that fight. Um, yeah, man. I I guess give me him versus Dominic Reyes. It just doesn't really excite me. I would way prefer to see him against like Apollo Costa,
Yeah,
or who else is up there right now?
I mean
Yuri, but
Yuri
Yuri's
Magomed
allegedly fighting heavyweight.
and Jamal Hill, who just said he went up to heavyweight. That's so Khalil's right in front of him at 6. Jamal's
Mm-hmm.
at 5, who said he's going up.
Yeah.
Paulo Costa is the next middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
Yuri, who said he's going up. Then
Mm-hmm.
Magomed, Alex Pajeda, who's already up, and Oberg. So really,
This sounds
with
like an
all the
interim title
people
fight.
going up,
This
with
sounds like an
all
interim title fight
with all the people going up, Magomed, um,
versus Navajo.
Roundtree, and then Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
So, but see, do you put him in that knowing he's not going to fight Oberg? Do you put him in an interim
Yeah,
title?
because you could probably get an extra title fight out of it if somebody starts getting hot in the light heavyweight division. Like if you give him that next shot, or you give Paulo that next shot against Ankalaev as an interim, then you do a flip, right? So either you're doing Paulo versus Ankalaev for the interim, then whoever wins that fights Sterling, or Sterling versus Ankalaev for the interim, and then Paulo gets the winner of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
you get those exciting fights at light heavyweight at least. And then when Carlos Ulberg comes back, he already announced like how it kind of has to shake up as somebody calling the shots. Love Ulberg's performance on the one knee, but I don't think we're at the point where we're calling the shots in the heavyweight division yet, but I respect it. He knows Navajo has to fight somebody. Yuri has to fight somebody, and he has to come back and fight whoever wins. I think he's already preparing to potentially have to fight a teammate. I think.
I mean, he might be. That doesn't mean Navajo is. But
and if he's not, then what do? Do you go down to middleweight? Like we can't just be stagnant.
You sit right
here.
Up there, just like Sterling and
Marab, and you wait till one of you guys lose, and then you challenge to try to take a belt.
Yeah,
I'm good on that. I'm sorry. Like, I respect the loyalty 100% because you guys know each other so well. And obviously, you know your guys' skill set so well, and you come up together. But we can't hold our career back just waiting for somebody else to potentially stumble, right? It gets into that very tricky, like almost uncomfortable position. Slightly different, but like when Islam pretty much was waiting for our boy Bilal to lose the welterweight belt so he could go up and challenge it. Within minutes of him losing it, he's like, I'm ready to go up to welterweight and challenge.
Yeah.
That's not showing me, you know what I mean? Like, if we're going to be doing that anyway, let's just get it out the way.
Yeah.
Like, it's fighting. We both fight. Like, don't we want to see who's better? What's the issue in that? Like, if we see each other every day, you should know things that could beat me, and I should know things that could beat you. And this is the game we're in. We signed up to do this.
Yeah.
And they pay us to do this. It's not like we're fighting over some quarrel or like some disagreement. We are prize fighters, right?
Yeah.
Like
and only one person can hold the title. If you want to voluntarily not go get that title,
let's shift the weight class. Let's let's fight in different promotions,
different leagues,
like if it's that of much of an issue,
right?
Let's pivot, right? Or let's leverage that and see how much the UFC values us and say, hey, look, we're not going to do it unless you pay us X amount of dollars. And if they come back with that, then maybe you maximize it financially for both parties. But you can't, I think it's a little bit crazy to just sit back and be like, nah,
well,
I'm not going to do it. I know I am a 28-year-old, extremely gifted for this weight class fighter, but because my friend is the champ coming off of a bad knee, I will not fight him if he's up there.
Yeah. Well, this might not be an issue anyway, because as a fan, I'm not giving Navajo Sterling a title shot. He's at least 2 wins away from getting a title shot. And he's got to win those fights, number one. And then Ulberg has to keep the title. And to be honest with you, I'm not very confident that he does. He comes back from an injury. I'm not very confident that he beats Magomed Ankalaev. And so I'm not very confident that he beats Paulo Costa, although I kind of think he might. But as far as like how much do you believe he's going to do that to even have to worry about it? And I just don't think right now we got to worry about it. I don't think they're both going to be up there at the same time to where this becomes that big of an issue. But if they do find themselves there, friends play sports against each other all the time. When you're on a wrestling team, I mean, your teammate challenges you for that starting spot. Sometimes that's your best friend, but y'all both want that starting spot, and only one person can have it. So sometimes you just got to do it, and people change schools, and people change teams, and it's always a big deal when somebody goes back to the team where they were. Peyton Manning going back to Indianapolis, but he doesn't skip the game and say, I'm not going to play, This is the sport where they do that. They tend to do that.
I'll correct one thing. Yuri didn't say he's going up to heavyweight.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
There's just whispers of Dricus going up to light heavyweight and them having a fight there. So Yuri's currently training. And
I did hear that.
Yeah, Dricus allegedly is going to go up. So you have an influx of middleweights switching over to light heavyweight to potentially, again, fill the gaps in a very it's talented, but it's lacking in entertainment value, I feel like, right now.
Yeah.
So you got the Dricka's potential go over. Mohamed Saidov looks fantastic. Iwo Baranowski is a fun prospect as well.
Yeah.
He keeps putting people out. Robert Whitaker, he said he won't fight, right?
Yeah.
Azamat Mirzakhanov was doing his thing before Paulo did what he did, right? Like there's fun fighters in there for sure.
Iwo's a real fun one.
Iwo's a fun one. But Navajo took the risk and jumped quite a few people in the rankings now. So you're right. Maybe they force him to fight, the winner of Drickus versus Yuri.
Yeah.
If that ends up being a fight that happens. I'm just saying, I think there's more angles in which he makes his way to that title contention / interim title contention now that he's won this fight than there is for him to be fighting down.
You think so?
And I think, yes. And I think with Ulberg healing, because we're only, 5 months, 6 months, if that, into the healing process for Ulberg. Then I haven't heard any great things. Like I haven't heard that he's back training. I haven't heard how bad the injury was. I know he's had surgery, but we're not getting updates to hear maybe he makes it on a Madison Square Garden card in November.
Yeah.
Or he makes it on some card at the early part of the year. We're just projecting, and he's setting up fights that will lead into an interim championship fight himself. So that doesn't sound like somebody who's ready to be fighting anytime soon.
Yeah.
It just gives too much time for time to pass. And like you said, 4 out of the guys ahead of Navajo Sterling are no longer light heavyweights or are injured.
Or they got a fight going on.
Or they have a fight already lined up. Or it's somebody who he said he doesn't want to fight. So tricky territory.
Here's what I think is more likely to happen. That he has to stay up there and hold his spot.
Yeah.
For much longer without getting anyone ahead of him. If I'm Khalil Roundtree, I'm fighting up. I'm not trying to fight Navajo Sterling. I had a shot to fight Ankalaev to see who was going to get a title shot. I'm not fighting Navajo Sterling.
Correct.
Yuri's got Dricus. Ankalaev is definitely not going to take on that fight unless they offer a title in it. So I think, unfortunately, they shot him a little too high. Not that it's their fault to put him that high. He beat Jan and beat him convincingly, but I think he's going to have to fight off the Mirzakhanovs, the Reyes, maybe the Johnny Walkers if they get there, the Iwos. I think he's going to have to fight them off for a little bit before he gets a title shot. I feel like he got put that high, but I don't know that the opportunity is going to present itself for him. More power to him if he does, but I think he's going to have to hold his position for a while. He's already, his last 3 fights, KO, TKOs. So he is on a roll, and I think he's undefeated, right? Undefeated?
Yeah, 11-0. Yeah.
So he's on an 11-fight win streak. I think he'll probably be 15 before he gets his title shot.
Guess time will tell.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we'll be doing this pod.
Yeah.
And then to close out the UFC Belgrade fight card, the Medic, aka I think at this point we could call him Euros Voya Medic for us on the podcast, right? Because when it comes to first round KOs and taking our boy to do business early, love the Daniel Rodriguez story for what it is. Love that we saw some of the training clips from him behind. For everything that was speculation, we got the confirmation, which is crazy.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, to be able to have actual video of this man training in the Mexican jail / prison with the most ingenious tools to make it happen. It was a cool story, but the one thing I said pre-fight and the same thing I'm going to say post-fight is having actual training partners to real time game plan against is more important than how fit you could keep yourself in jail, right? To take a fight this quick coming out against a guy this dangerous and this quick, against a guy who could land, when I've watched you get put on your back by Kevin Holland, who's not as fast, who's not as powerful, and just escape because Kevin didn't really utilize the best fight IQ in that exchange. I couldn't bet on you to come out, figuratively or actually, to come out and survive a Euros this geeked up by the crowd.
Yeah.
It didn't get a flush hit, but it landed, and his power and his quickness. And he ran in and he finished the job. It was not an early stoppage, but like I said also, if Rodriguez is on the mat and Euros is throwing punches, they're gonna call it.
Absolutely.
It's in Serbia. It's getting called. It got called. It was a right stoppage because Daniel Rodriguez wasn't protecting himself. But don't worry, like, once the knockdown happened and Euros pounced, that's all she wrote. Kevin's called for a rematch against Daniel Rodriguez for UFC Noche. I don't think they're going to add that.
You talking about Kevin Holland?
Yeah, Kevin Holland. He said he wants his fight back and he would like to do it on Noche, and it would be for his 30th win. Rodriguez said he's down. There's been no update, but it's not September
Noche's
yet.
a big card.
Noche's a big card, right? But what I want to lean back to is the moment that Medic had post-fight, pre-fight in that stadium, in that arena. The fans were magnificent. Only about 20,000 plus, but they had flares going off in the stands. Like, it was nuts. It was like a soccer experience. And just them chanting his name post-fight, pre-fight, during the fight, it was phenomenal. And a part of me is selfish in what I'm about to say next. Why does Uros Medic get to bring a card to Serbia? Why? I know he's had some moments. Why does he get to bring a card to Serbia when at one point in time we could have had UFC Niger with Usman and Adesanya leading the way, and we could have had a fully fleshed out UFC Nigerian card, or if you want to combine it, UFC West African card, and you combine something like that, UFC South Africa when Dricus had the belt, UFC Jamaica, which we did our own.
Wanted.
Right, we did our own version. I think that's actually the inception of the pod, is you giving me the idea for UFC Jamaica, and then it's eventually coming on here and talking about it. But you had Aljo holding the belt, you had Uriah Hall on the verge of retiring, you had Leon Edwards holding the belt, and we could have made that happen, right? And we don't strike while the iron's hot with those fighters to bring that fight there in time. And we not stumble, but UFC Belgrade happens. And I love Uros Medic, but he wasn't even top 10 ranked when this happened.
No, I mean, even now he's number 10.
Yeah, we're in Serbia with again, a fight night, which that's all I was asking for too. Obviously, you have Adesanya, Usman back in those days. It cannot be a fight night. It has to be a numbered event, and it has to be a pay-per-view. To do that one. And I guess technically when Aljo and Leon Edwards are overlapping, you could push the envelope and say it can't be a fight night, and maybe you don't want to use your pay-per-view points on UFC Jamaica, but maybe you make only one guy headline it. Or maybe you even go Uriah Hall retirement fight for everything he did for the UFC.
Right.
And drop it in Kingston. I feel like too often we are utilizing the fighters to go to new markets, and we're missing the obvious ones. Like we end up in Abu Dhabi very often.
A lot.
Very often. Obviously, now we've been in Belgrade. We stumble into China very often now, which granted, big market.
Mexico.
As soon as there's opportunities to get there. Argentina, like this, we go everywhere. But I have not seen.
Have they done one in Argentina?
UFC Niger. I think very, very long time ago, but I think it was a Ponzinibbio card. There's only been one, I think, in Argentina. Only reason I know is because Kevin Vallejo said that was the first event he went to, and that's what really like motivated him to be an MMA fighter. And we're probably going to end up back in Argentina for Kevin Vallejo's fight. If you guys have not seen Kevin Vallejos, you will see Kevin Vallejos, and you will understand why we will be back in Argentina.
Buenos Aires is one of the top cities in the country or in the world.
Exactly, right?
population wise. They're big
It makes
cities.
sense. I just think we need to be exploring those other markets as well. When we have a lot of fighters as skilled as they are, or as
Uh-huh.
exciting as they are, UFC Cameroon was an opportunity missed with
Yeah.
our boy, who's there with MVP, right? Ngannou, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, even when they did France, Ngannou wasn't on it, and he trained over there for a bit. Like
Right.
it was post Ngannou, I think. But France is another one. We find our way in France, I think 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Like, why are we missing the other ones? And I know there's more infrastructure needs, but Serbia only had 20,000 people in the stadium.
Right.
The national stadium in Jamaica would hold that. I think a
Yeah.
little bit plus. You can make it happen. Right? So
Well,
that's all. That's all I wanted to add. I'm not trying to take away from Euros' win. I just feel like we need to be exploring other markets as well if we're able to make it happen for the, at the time, number 13th ranked
yeah.
welterweight against a guy who has been in prison for 8 months. And we kind of see the writing on the wall. You know what I mean?
Well, and let's also put it out there that you're trying to actively grow markets, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you look at Nigeria, are you telling me that couldn't be a great breeding ground for fighters when you've got two of your top guys holding belts from there? Like you could obviously make that inspire people who are going to start fighting, who are going to come out of there and give you dominant performances in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying, well, Khabib came out of Dagestan, but we're not gonna. Now they also haven't done a Dagestan card, you know.
You're
Um,
right. And I think
and there's
infrastructure
already,
wise, it's tough,
yeah,
but Eagle FC does stuff in
yeah,
Russia, right? So,
hmm
like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Obviously, a little bit more of a tense political situation.
yeah.
Um,
Chechnya definitely would probably be a more difficult. You probably
mhm.
could do one in Dagestan.
That's why Abu Dhabi is like the faux version of that for them right now,
Yeah,
which is weird. Um, but they utilize the close to but not actually market
yeah,
for that one, and we don't do it for, again, you could pick, say it's not Jamaica. You could literally have like a CONCACAF UFC card
yeah.
where it's pretty much all of the Central and Caribbean countries, and you
hmm
you put it in Belize or you put it in Panama, and it just has those fighters on there.
Yeah,
But we're still not utilizing. I feel the resources in the right way to spread it a little bit more.
yeah. And I know there's a lot that goes into putting them there, giving cards to, you know, putting them in certain places. But we also have the impression that some of these places are less developed sometimes, and that's just really not the case.
Mm-mm.
Um, at least not nearly what a lot of people think. I think you know, um, so you could put one in Kenya.
You're not wrong on what you're saying. Perception is everything, right?
Yeah,
And like you said, these places are perceived to be rough in terms of what they can make happen. Um, how do you change that perception though?
I think you got to put one there.
You got to
I think
go.
you got to go to Lagos.
Yeah.
I think you've got to put it in there and let people see what it actually is.
South
You know?
Africa, there's no excuse. I mean, granted, I don't know how big Drickus' market was, but like we
Yeah, I
know
don't
South
know.
Africa has the capabilities. Hosted a World Cup, way bigger, way
Yeah.
bigger event than a UFC card,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like you have stadiums inhabited in a lot of these countries. Um,
Well, and they've all got soccer stadiums.
yeah, right. So
So
like we could make something happen. And granted, Spain hasn't gotten one either.
no. I mean, there's a lot of
And
places that
we
haven't gotten
missed
them.
out on the Ilya run with Spain,
Yeah.
but I heard more talks of that being close
Right.
than when you had 3 African champions at the same time than any card being in any African country.
Well, and it stands out because among places, Africa is so big,
Yeah, market is so
and
large.
just to have a massive land area there
Mm-hmm.
to have not even hosted a single one.
PFL Africa has happened.
I mean, they could do it. They could do it. They're not doing it, but they could do it. You could put together a great card with the fighters you already have. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. PFL Africa happened, so I know it's possible.
Atiba, Usman, Adesanya. Oh man, who's that guy out of Cameroon that's not Ngannou? They got a lighter weight fighter who came out of there, and it's not Atiba and it's not Ngannou, and he's good.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember the name, but I remember.
Yeah, his name I can't remember right now. But I mean, you got Dricus, the Moroccan fighter. Is it Zalal?
Mm-hmm.
There's
you can get really creative.
Yeah, you could have a really good card.
You could get really creative. Maybe we need to make a conceptual UFC African card.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
because I think there's more there than well, I don't know. I was gonna say I think there's more there than like a China card, but maybe not.
China's I would say there's more there than what the Serbian card did.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You had a lot of debutantes. You had guys who fought in the Contender Series but lost and got a contract anyway because they're really good. Yeah. You had a debutant from Brazil on there, so it doesn't necessarily have to be African debutantes. Yeah. Like you could find a way to make UFC Africa work if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like I could give grace to CONCACAF UFC a little bit. But you have Waldo Acosta, you have you have Despain who just signed back with the UFC. You have a couple people, right? What's the Panamanian that came out of Contender Series? There's Arubian. He Pinedas.
Yeah.
He's also one that you could drop.
He's got the cool nickname, the Baba Yaga.
Yeah, Baba Yaga. Yeah, like you got bodies to do some interesting things there. And CONCACAF, which you keep having me, which I keep repeating, includes South Africa.
Okay.
So, not South Africa, South America.
Oh, right? Okay. I was about to say.
Yeah,
I was like, South Africa, I've never heard that.
But it includes South America. So like you don't lose your Vallejos, you don't lose your fighters from down there. You could utilize the Brazilian guys still. Honestly, you could still name it that and utilize anybody you want.
Is it a copyrighted
I'm
name?
just saying.
Trademarked? Huh? Is it trademarked?
What?
CONCACAF?
Yeah, it's a FIFA thing. So, not necessarily a FIFA thing because I think they utilize it for the Olympics as well. But yeah, it's like Conference of Central America, and I got to look up the meaning. It's been a minute since I had to. Let me see, CONCACAF. It stands for Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association Football. But somehow Argentina gets to participate in Brazil. Anyway, but yeah, it's those folks. Yeah. So, yeah, man. You have Canadian fighters. You have Malat. Like he would qualify for that card. Like you always get UFC Vancouver, and I get it. Big Milan mass as well. Some good fighters up there. They love fighting in Canada, but we're missing out on an opportunity. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like we keep harping on this over and over and over again. And just UFC Belgrade reminded me once again that we need to revisit it. That is all.
Yeah.
That is all I got.
I think we build that podcast and build that fight card.
That's what I'm saying.
Send it off to Dana.
That's what I'm saying. I hit Dana up and I'm like, look, man, I know you heard about Kick and Post.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has. Right? Let's go ahead.
I know you know about us.
I know you know about us. Let's get this thing situated, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, not to take away from Medic. Let's get back to Medic a little bit before we switch over to some of the stuff that happened this past weekend. He's ready for a bigger challenge. They've been giving him guys that either have name value but hasn't been on the top of their game recently, or guys that they wanted him to beat, a la this last fight.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to look at the welterweight rankings and see where he fits in. In the mix. He called out Leon Edwards. I think that's a fantastic call out. He said he's been ducking and hiding, and hopefully they can find him in time for him to get a fight. I think he did a good job on the mic. He mentioned Prates. Prates is not taking that fight right now.
No.
Prates is looking upwards, but I think that's also smart of him in terms of just like exciting fights. Other fights on here, he unlike a lot of the other guys we talked about, has his pick of the litter. I would love to see him against Leon Edwards. I would love to see him against Bilal. I'd be okay with him against Bonfim. Sean Brady, I'm not mad at that either. A Jack Della Maddalena fight, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
Like, there's options all the way from 8 to 5 that I am completely comfortable with. And if you gave him Buckley, I feel like that's too low. Because why am I fighting 10 to go to 9? But I think that would be a banger fight as well.
If I'm him, I'm staying away from Buckley. I don't care how hard I understand. Buckley's
Buckley is still a truck, and his stock is down. Look out for Buckley when he gets an opportunity to fight somebody who's not a grappler. I think he'll remind a lot of people what he does. If you see Buckley Bonfim by some act of bad matchmaking, I'd probably be on the Buckley side. But actually, Buckley has a fight. What am I talking about?
Who's he fighting?
I think he's fighting Mike Malott. Yeah,
he sure
Mike
is.
Malott, October 17th.
That feels like a long way away. I guess it's not that far away.
Look out for Buckley.
Yeah.
In terms of taking names, I wouldn't be mad if he fought backwards and took that Usman fight. Collect a legend. It's good for the branding, right? But outside of that, he shouldn't be fighting down, right? So Medic has competition up ahead, and maybe
he's
one
got a
name
lot
below
of
him.
He's still got a lot to prove. He's ranked number 10.
Yeah.
He wants a title. He's got a name for himself now. He's done a headliner. He's won. But he is by no means contending for a title yet.
No, he's not. This next card, though, does have a guy contending for a title. Not going to get into all the fights on here. I do want to say I am interested to see who they give Yadir Dalval next, because it's been an interesting career so far. He got a gimme by every sense of the word, because the guy literally gave him the fight.
Yes, he did.
He got out wrestled by Jordan Levitt for 3 rounds. Interesting. And then he dropped a 42-year-old who chinless 42-year-old has this horrible, the damaged tattoo on his chest. Yeah. And that is all he suffered in a lot of his career. So like it doesn't get me excited that he finished him in 35 seconds. I'm sorry.
Right.
But he's a prospect that is going to have that 11-1 tag and given a person that similar range, and will be left to make a decision. I think a pretty tough one for some. For me, I don't know. I think in the featherweight division, there's some fun strikers that could get him out of there. So just somebody to pay attention to. How'd you feel about the Ty Miller performance?
Ty Miller was impressive. I really liked Ty Miller in that fight. I think Billy Ray Goff was he had good control when he could tie him up. Yeah. But Miller kept slipping out, and I don't know if that was just Goff not doing what he was supposed to do, or if that was Miller just having a nice way to get out. DC kept commenting on it, because he's got his hands under his butt. And usually when you got that, you can finish it off, but Miller wasn't allowing it. But the one thing I'll say that he did, Billy Ray Goff, is he body locked him and held him against the cage for a lot of the first round, but he never really advanced that position. Whether it's because he couldn't advance the position, or if he was just resting, he was not working in that position to advance and progress the fight. And that was something that gave Ty Miller the ability to just stay fresh. You're not really having to work when the guy's just, hanging on your hips. Yes. He's not taking you to the ground. He's not punching you. He's not kneeing you. He's not doing any of that stuff. So for him, he stayed fresh and accurate striker. Fun to watch. Reminded me a little bit of Carlos Condit.
Okay.
Liked what I saw out of him. Want to see him fight some more. I mean, he's welterweight. He's got the height for it.
He does.
But I don't know. We'll see. He doesn't look physically like he's somebody who's going to come in and impose his will. And then you see him, and he's a lot taller than you expect, and he's got
Yeah,
that range, and
he
he's very
does. Rangy, yeah.
precise, and he's
Yeah.
fast. So I actually kind of expect some big things out of him for him to make a name. I expect him to one day be a top 15 fighter. I don't know if I expect him to be a champ, but I definitely expect him to be a top 15, and maybe even sooner rather than later. But
Yeah, for
I
me, jury's still out for sure.
yeah, he seemed to get caught up very easily by golf,
Mm-hmm.
um, just to be held against the cage, and with somebody who's trying to progress. You put him against any of the Russians that are up there, Ukrainians,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that spells trouble for him. But we'll see. Maybe he's got more than I know.
It looks a little bit for me rehearsed. Like his fight style just looks very kind of almost robotic. I feel like he stays on what the game plan is very well.
Mhm.
And being robotic isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just feel like Billy Ray Goff had too many successful moments in this fight for somebody who's been gone that long.
Yeah.
And Ty Miller won. This should have been stopped at the end of the second round, but they
Yeah.
have the guy get off the stool and tell him to run around and evade
Oh
contact
my gosh, I
the
forgot
entire
about
third
that.
round.
It,
And that's the coaching. That's the
I
coaching
could
you get from
not
your
believe
corner,
that was his coaching. Oh
right?
my gosh, that was
That's the coaching from your corner with your broken orbital bone instead of
possibly
just
the
throwing the
worst.
towel in.
That was possibly the worst coaching I've heard. And I mean, everybody has their bad moments. His was caught on tape. Um, it was.
We saw
It's,
Tapiria's face get beaten beyond recognition, and they threw the towel in. And we hear about how that's not how that should have went down. Look, if the only other option you have to tell your fighter is to run around and evade contact for 5 minutes, throw the towel in.
and we saw
We've
it with
lost the
Fortune.
fight.
We saw it with
We've lost.
Fortune.
We've lost the fight.
Yeah.
We lost the fight.
Yeah.
So he goes in there for the third round and one strong punch, and I don't think it stumbled him. I think he felt it and decided, okay, this is where the fight ends. Stepped back, got against the cage, got finished.
Yeah.
Ty has good skills. Ty has good measurables. I definitely wonder about when things go off script. And again,
well,
you had Billy Ray Goff dead to rights a couple times, and I feel like you were just staying on brand too much. You're a little bit too comfortable with being in almost the rehearsed game plan. I think we could go off script a little bit more and get a little bit more creative. Sometimes staying on script and on brand works, and it has, right? But you're gonna go against guys more dangerous. I just want to see a little bit. I want him to be a little bit looser in there. It just seems a little bit too robotic to me. And even while he was winning, I was like, okay, if he approaches this way, if he does this a little bit different, if he throws a kick this way, right? Like I see him with openings that he could have, but he's staying on the path, and it worked for him.
Yeah,
it worked for him. I just want to see maybe get a little bit I just wanted to feel a little bit more natural watching him fight. You know,
I actually like the fact that he stays on brand like that. He's very cool and collected. Seems to have a lot of poise. I am curious when somebody pushes him, breaks his rhythm a little bit, how that's going to do if frustration sets in. But in a fight like this, when you don't have to, I mean, the more experience you have with that poise, the better it's going to serve you in the future.
I understand. I could get there with it. Dr. Nurgazay is another guy I want to bring attention to. This is the second time we've watched him fight now. Maybe third. I know for sure we talked about him twice on the pod. He looks very nimble and very fun at light heavyweight. I know people are worried about his takedown defense because of the first fight he had. I didn't get to see too much of that first fight. That people questioned that. In the first fight I watched him, he tried to keep the thing on feet. Got a decision win if I'm not mistaken. In this one, I did take him to win by finish because I feel like his measurables and how easily he moved on his feet was a little bit better than the Bruno Lopez trying to get that takedown. And that prevailed, right? So he's in a fun division. I think I think it's a tough ask to just try to rocketeer him into that mix because there's guys who could grapple up there at light heavyweight, but there's
Mm-hmm.
also a lot of strikers up there that I'd be intrigued in seeing him fight against. Um, yeah, yeah, I think he's a fun fighter for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm excited to see what he could do going forward. I don't know if you have any takes on him.
Now he reminds me a little bit of Magomed Ankalaev in this
Okay,
sense that he's not gonna make mistakes.
yeah,
He's not gonna put himself in danger if he can help it.
yeah,
Um, he's gonna do enough to win,
hmm
and to knock you out. He
hmm
is a knockout artist, but he's gonna be very controlled in there. He's not gonna be somebody who overextends a ton. He's not going to go change his game plan to make it more exciting. He's going to have his game plan. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. And when the opportunity opens up, he's got those accurate shots that can put you down. So
they
I
just
like
that
him. I liked him
you
in the
don't.
last fight I saw him in, and so I had him winning this fight, and
Yeah,
he did.
he did. I think he has to stay off the mat. Obviously, 2 submission
Hmm.
losses in his last four. Um, but if you're not going to get him on the mat, and you're going to allow him to get ahead.
Yeah.
He is very creative, and striking looks natural for him, especially
Hmm.
that at that weight class. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Stephen Asplin, Guillermo Pat. Uh, it was a fun fight.
I love that
Asplin's
fight.
Asplin is a high volume guy for the weight
Yeah.
class. I will say the power is not necessarily lacking, but for heavyweight, he's not a heavy puncher, right?
Right, but he put him down a few times.
He did, but it's Guillermo Pat. No offense to Guillermo Pat, but he falls in that
Guillermo
range
Pat
of
has a powerful left hand.
yes, but Guillermo Pat falls in that range of guys with athletic
Hmm.
advantages
Yeah.
that struggle to let their hands go for me.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be an issue. When forced to put his foot on the pedal, he did.
Hmm.
I think Asplin still hasn't run into the most effective test of his skills either.
No.
And I think Asplin knows that. This was a very difficult fight for him. He got the win, got knocked down, was able to
Hmm.
pop back up. But again, sheer volume punching, Pat will let you get ahead of him in
Yeah.
those exchanges.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where I struggle for Asplin is when the volume punching is being matched, when somebody doesn't allow him to get those moments off as comfortably as he has been, what do we pivot to? What skill set do we shift to? Because it's not power. He's not putting anybody out necessarily without the volume, right? Like,
Yeah, he's got to have volume.
yeah, right. So like, he called for Jamal Hill. I think that's just a good call out
Yeah.
for him at this point in Jamal Hill's potentially stepping up to heavyweight realm.
Yeah.
But if you go down that list of heavyweights and we look at it in detail, like, I mean, there's guys he could beat for sure,
Hmm.
right? We're looking at, I don't know how he fares against Ryan Spann. The ground game is good for Ryan Spann. Is he ahead of him yet? No, he's unranked. So
Yeah, I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him against Ryan Spann, but that might be the next fight for him.
yeah,
I think
you
Spann
got
wins that fight.
Brando Pericic. You got Curtis Blades at 10, who's fighting Waldo Acosta. Both those guys beat him, I think.
Yeah.
Vitor Petrino just beat him.
Hmm.
I think Sergey Spivak beats him. I think Walter Walker beats him.
Yeah.
I think Josh Hokett would love the opportunity to get in there with somebody who'll throw as much as he throws.
Yeah.
But I think Josh Hokett also beats him.
Hmm.
Rizvan Kanayev will allow that pressure onto himself. But if you're not powerful enough to put him out, Kanayev could get up on him too. It's just
Yeah.
tough. Looking in the ranked, I need to see a little bit more growth from him. And he's still
Yeah.
pretty new to the game. So like there's opportunity. Um I think there's a ceiling to what he does right now.
Yeah.
Like pressure fighting and volume fighting, a lot of the top end of this division is not a successful method, especially when you leave yourself susceptible to hits, which we've seen him take damage now in back-to-back fights. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I was intrigued. It was fun, but it didn't leave me looking at an Asplund ascension in the heavyweight realms right now. But I'm always going to tune into a Steven Asplund fight, and I'm even more so going to tune in to a Steven Asplund press conference, post-fight conference,
absolutely,
and post-fight in octagon interview. He's fun on the mic. He's very comfortable. He's an entertainer, and I love that.
That'll keep his career going just as much as the fighting will.
1,000%. 1,000%. He's a very likable guy.
Yeah.
You said Gamrot has a strong left. Did you see anything else in that fight that kind of leans you on my side of the fence, or you think I'm being a little bit too harsh on Steven Asplund?
I think Steven Asplund is still developing. I think the volume striking can be a weapon, especially against a lot of your bigger heavyweights, who are not as conditioned, and that's where he has used it and been successful. He just needs to develop the skill more. He's got the toughness. He's been hit hard and come right back. He's not afraid to bleed. He's not afraid to fight. He's just got to keep developing those skills. I have no idea how he is on the ground. I know they had a couple of exchanges there, but I don't know how good he actually is on the ground. And to be honest with you, he's a really big guy as far as height. He's lost so much weight that I'm not sure he's going to have the size to contend with some of the people at heavyweight. With his skill set. Yeah. I think Kanaev throws him across the cage all the time.
I just don't think you could have
I think
the
Spivak
high
does
volume
the same
and lack
thing.
of power that he has.
Yeah.
Again, he's a heavyweight, so there's still going to be power coming behind the punches.
Yeah, I mean, he did more dropping than the other guy did, but...
Yeah, but it, again, maybe I'm being too harsh.
I don't know. I think he's got some developing to do.
I've seen some heavyweight punching that really is awe-inducing. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I watched a guy that I didn't love, Cyril Gane, put Pereira on his butt hard.
Yeah,
I watch Espinal get guys out of there quickly.
Yeah,
right. Even I don't know. I wouldn't say Curtis Blades is necessarily a power puncher. But just the volume him and Hokit fought at, it looks a lot more aggressive, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be your knockout artist.
No, not necessarily.
But I think he can do a lot of stuff at the heavyweight division. A perennial top 10, I think he could do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think he could get up there in that range. I need to see more. And obviously he's not ranked. And the guy they gave him was somebody I think they're trying to test to see which direction he was going in. I think he saved himself a little bit with how he performed in this fight by actually fighting, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for Asplund, especially this part of his career, he seems comfortable being in there in the mix with some guys who are pretty good, but not necessarily being offered up to some of the more serious title contenders yet. I would love to see all the unranked heavyweights. I would, to kind of see where who they have where. Because I think that's kind of the realm we need to be looking at for him right now, is some of those unranked guys.
Oh yeah, probably 15 to 25.
Yeah, right. 15 to 25 range. Even lower, I would say.
Okay.
But not lower than 25, but
on the lower side of it.
On the lower side of that range. More is what I would say. So yeah. We'll see. Obviously Salkilld did what he did. Well, we could go to that fight now, right?
Well,
go ahead.
You want to go to that fight now? Because I got another fight I want to talk about.
Let me hear about which one.
Alexia Thainara.
Okay, go ahead.
She's my favorite female fighter right now.
Really? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know how far she's going to go, but she's tough. She can wrestle. She can grapple. She's got hands too. She actually did get caught by Lemus, and so
She
we
did.
got to see her work through
Recover.
that.
Yeah.
And she did great. She's got more personality than
Hmm.
probably all the women's division put together. Um, I think she's my new favorite female fighter coming up.
Okay.
I like the way she fights. I like the way she takes it to him. Um, and she's got the grappling. She's an all around fighter. I like it. I don't know if she's going to win a title, um, but I'll tune in to probably watch her fight any fight she does.
Yeah,
And
I'm not
she was
necessarily
pretty
feeling
impressive
title
against
contender.
Lemus, who
Yeah.
was a title contender herself. So,
Yeah.
and the last person to beat Mackenzie Dern. So, this is gonna put her a
In the
little bit
mix.
higher up in the mix. Um, I say you give her a top 5. I think she's ready for it.
I mean, we talked about Mackenzie Dern holding the belt anyway, and I
Yeah.
feel like it just is more of an indictment on what we were trying to make happen
Hmm.
and where that division is right now. No hate to Mackenzie Dern. I know it sounds like hate to Mackenzie Dern, but I don't see her being a perennial defender of the belt. Um, and if she is, it speaks a lot to either her growth or the lack of talent in that weight class right now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Thainara performed well um, against Lemos. I think I want to see her a little bit more measured when she's trying to execute her striking. I think a little bit of it is path to grappling, which is fine.
Yeah.
She's a wrestler, right? But I feel like with the size advantage sometimes in there, I feel like she could really figure out the striking to at least a above competent level. She could be a monster in there
Yeah.
because she has the gas tank.
Yep.
She has the strength and the grappling.
Hmm.
Um, Now I'm not really seeing like submission attempts necessarily like a Gillian Robertson or anything like that, but Jillian Robertson.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm seeing somebody who can grind out a fight
Yeah.
and be difficult to beat. And in that division especially, that could take you a long way. So I think she's ready for top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I just have my reservations a little bit about that division in general.
Right.
And I'm ready for more exciting. I like exciting, and I'm not a wrestling guy still yet. I'm trying. I'm trying to get on the page with you. I'm trying to get on the page where I like to see, you know, cage control and control time, but I'm not there yet. I don't think I've matured. It's like red wine. You know what I mean? Like I
Well,
can't drink red
yeah.
wine yet. Too bitter. Give me the sweet stuff.
She just moved
You know
up
what
to
I mean?
10.
I like punches. I like punches. So
She'll probably get a 5 to 10
she needs to.
because
Again,
they only moved her up to 10. I think Lemus was 8 and they didn't move her up all that way, but they did
yeah.
move her up to 10. So she went up. But, yeah.
And there'll be opportunities. I think a lot of the top 10 is aging out. Um, and on the flip side, a lot of the things I like to see, again, I like the sweet. I like the candy. Give me the
Yeah.
punches, right? Give me the easy stuff. Some of those are ascending as well. So
Uh-huh.
it'll be a battle of will, I feel like, especially a year or two with some of the
Yeah.
remaining strong grapplers against some of the ascending strikers
Uh-huh.
who are trying to work the grappling game.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun time. But yeah, she executed well. I think it was a great performance. Um, Lemos, I think, is at the end of her
Yes,
wits
she is.
with I think it's about time to potentially start looking in the retirement realm. But one last big fight on a Rio de Janeiro card, not big necessarily, but a fight that she could get in there and maybe get her last knockdown in that division. Apparently, she leads the division in knockdowns with 6.
Hmm. Not a lot of
Right?
knockdowns.
Not a lot of knockdowns to be leading the division. I mean,
Yeah.
in history of the division, by the way,
Not a
is
lot
what
of
they said.
knockdowns.
Right? So, I think it's exciting times for her to get that farewell fight.
Yeah.
I think when it's I don't want to say Johnny Walker should hang it up too, but I think you could build out a very good Rio de Janeiro card with some Brazilian fighters who are either fighting to keep a contract or getting the retirement fight.
Yeah.
Maybe she waits for that Aldo official retirement fight to come back and do that. Because I don't think he retired, did he?
Who, Jose?
Yeah.
Is he not officially retired?
Didn't he
hasn't fought
fight
in a really long time.
Didn't he fight what's his face? He was one of the big wins for Zahabi on the come up.
But he shouldn't have won that fight. Zahabi.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
so you're
most
saying
people thought he lost it.
He officially retired. I don't
Well,
think he
I don't
officially
know
retired.
if he officially retired
Oh, yeah,
or not.
he did.
But did he?
He did. He officially retired after the Zahabi fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he did take off his gloves, didn't he?
Yeah, he officially retired after the Zahabi fight. Forgot. Says no fight would convince him to return. We'll see about that. Anyway, but yeah, okay. Because I was about to say, if they did a farewell for him in Rio de Janeiro, one last one, because I mean, he lost that fight in Toronto, didn't he? Like, that's not how you send off Aldo. I mean, if he decides to call it there, I'm comfortable with it. I prefer a guy knowing that it's time, right? But like, competitive fight against somebody who just fought Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
You could give me one farewell fight against somebody at the bottom of the division. So
I think there's something here that just in fighting it tends to happen, where people peak at different times in their career. And Aldo peaked very early on in his career. When he was fighting those fights with Chad Mendes that he had, I mean, he was still in his 20s. I think he when he put Uriah Faber out with all those leg kicks, made him black and blue all over. And then he got into his 30s and he really struggled to win. And it's not because he never had that ability. He just peaked at a different time, I think. And some could argue that that Conor fight really did something to him, but
did something to the I don't want to say ego necessarily, but
there's something about doing something to the mystique when you show that somebody can be beat. A lot of people are saying that happened with Ilya when Gaethje just took him out. But you look at Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, and Tyson was the scariest man on the planet. Lennox Lewis won their fight. They're darn near the same age. And when Mike Tyson was winning those fights, Lennox was boxing, but he wasn't boxing like Mike Tyson was boxing. And you couldn't touch Lennox Lewis
after that
when he got older. And so it's kind of interesting how these things go. People peak and they, it's such different times. And I don't know where I was going with that. You brought up Aldo, and that just made me think about how
it made you think of the hills and valleys of his career.
How amazing he was when he first came out.
He had a couple hills in there, though. Because, like, obviously the peak is probably at the top of his career, right? Which one could argue were skill sets as advanced back then? Was the talent pool as deep back then? Was the training there? Like, it's at the early stages of, especially the UFC, right? But, like, he was mixed martial arts fighting for years before he got to the UFC.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't even have a featherweight division.
Exactly. So it leads to that. And I'm not trying to like segue into another guy where I feel like as the years pass, they'll start questioning him a little bit more too. I just think because he's transitioned to his next side of his career so well, and it reminds people how not only for the weight class he was skilled and dangerous, but he's also so smart is Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Where you could go back and question some of like his comp and all his like title defenses, but he keeps reminding you in the media, especially, that if you dropped him into this era, he probably would still be a problem, right?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna start going back and looking through that lens of those guys' careers a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like say soccer per se, where like the sport's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and you can kind of peg guys from the early 90s to the guys now. And even then, you're still kind of questioning like training practices, health and wellness, diet,
Right.
travel, like the new guys having the advantage there. So, the athleticism changing over the years in the different eras. They do that in basketball too. They do it in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
But especially MMA, the paychecks were so much lower, right?
They were.
Like a lot of the talented guys are not just fighting.
Yeah.
They have to pay the bills in other ways. While you're getting to an era of the fighting game now where some of these guys could commit completely and even still not getting paid to the level that they're supposed to get paid, allegedly, right? I don't want to get into that argument. But the talent pool, I think, becomes a lot deeper.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely deeper now than it was.
So it's going to put a different view on those guys' careers a little bit. But that's why I respect Aldo as well, because he even came back in this realm and gave some people difficult fights and won some fights and reminded people that like it wasn't just all because of when I was fighting.
Right.
It put that hint of doubt in people's mind, at least mine, to say like, if you drop him at his peak athleticism, gosh, he was a problem for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Now, when he's at the end of his career, right?
Yeah.
It's what made me a believer in Jan, because when Jan did what he did to Aldo after Aldo was still competing with everybody else, it's like, yeah, that guy's a problem, and maybe Jan shouldn't be fighting that high of the division, right? But you see him fight everybody below, the Zahabis and guys like that, and everybody's still getting a tough fight out of Aldo.
Yeah.
There's still juice there, right? So yeah, there's hills and valleys, but I think in putting himself a little bit in the valley, he helped remind people and will help extend his legacy.
Yeah.
Further than that McGregor moment, right?
Yeah.
It helps build McGregor up too, right? And some of the other guys. And it's not necessarily like other guys who stayed around too late. A la, what's his name? BJ Penn. Chuck Liddell, right? Like guys who, their shtick as the talent grew, it hurt them a lot down the stretch, like where you love Anderson Silva, when the athleticism dialed back a little bit and he couldn't get out of the way as quickly, it made him a lot more human. And me as an Israel Adesanya fan, I'm having to come to terms, I feel like, with that a little bit more now too, because as the athleticism left, a lot of the things that we heralded him for, we're starting to have to spin around now and be like, why are we fighting this way? Where's the IQ, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to Aldo. I'm glad he retired. And for me to be able to say I'd call him out of retirement for one last fight, I'm usually the guy who's walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away and call it. But he looks competitive enough to still be able to fight.
I'll always tune in for an Aldo fight. He was the one that really...
One last one in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
I started
one
watching...
last one in Rio de Janeiro.
Started watching WEC right before Aldo came in. Like before Aldo came in. Uriah Faber's champion. And he may have been in there. I just didn't know who he was. But when I started seeing him come up the ranks, I was like, this kid is dangerous. And it was something to watch with his athleticism. And he always took off right up into the crowd. He was the only one I knew of that did that at the time. And he ended up way up in the stands. Celebrating with the crowd. They just couldn't keep him. He had so much energy. They just couldn't keep him contained.
In Brazil, he practically crowd walks.
Yeah.
Like he's beloved there. Like, yeah, man, crazy career. I can't believe I didn't realize he officially retired. But like I said,
now that you said that, I do remember him doing that. But yeah. Yep.
Good for Aldo. Quillan Salkild, because I think I want to put a bow on what he did yesterday. I don't want to call myself the leader of the when you see it, believe it type of thing, right? But I've been on the right side of Michael Morales now. I've been on the right side of Quillan Salkild. And sometimes you could see the pieces forming, right? Whether it's there's a certain gap that one guy's just way better at, There's certain athletic measurables that one guy has over the other, right? Gamrot, love Gamrot as the wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Did what he did to Esteban Ribovitz
Mm-hmm.
recently. Submitted him in the second round. Got that one right too. Follow us on Verdict MMA, right? But when you see the stuff that Quillan Salkild did against questionable competition,
Yeah.
the height is there, the speed is there, the power is there, right? And he's a confident wrestler. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not all for
Yeah.
the standing and striking. I was struggling to find where Gamrot would have the advantage. We didn't get a chance to talk about it pre-fight. It's going to sound like I'm front running. Go check Verdict MMA. I had Quillan Salkild by first round knockout. He picked to do whatever he wanted in there. I think pretty early in the fight, he realized athletically Gamrot didn't have enough to keep pace with him. It was all going to be a mind game, especially if they get on the ground. I think Quillan did take an unnecessary risk in wrestling with Gamrot, because I think if he kept Gamrot on the feet, that fight finishes in the first round still, and he gets him out of there. The power was there, the speed was there, the precision on the feet was there. Gamrot had nothing for him on the feet, and he could have finished it that way. But I think it was kind of more of a mix of two things. One, got his leg caught up, got his leg twisted up. He said it felt a twinge in there. It did not feel good. So in terms of comfortability, I feel like working off of the ground is a lot easier than sidestepping, trying to keep distance, and potentially pushing off of that leg. Not saying he was hurt. I'm just saying it's probably more comfortable. Secondly, he probably got down there, and after getting out of that leg lock and how much effort that took for Gamrot, realized like he's probably gassed, and I already damaged him.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could do something that they would not expect. Took his back. That was definitely not how anybody saw the fight going. I don't care what anybody tells me. I know. I've been on Verdict MMA. A few people picked first round subs. You guys are sickos. I hope you won a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like the clear advantage was there, and he was going to execute there. Now, that lightweight division is pretty loaded. Quillan called for somebody in the top 5. I am not opposed to him getting a top 5 fight. I think he's shown me enough with the Gamrot fight that we could put him in there against somebody who has a strong skill set in both. I would love to see somebody test him on the feet, though. So while you tell us what you thought about that fight, I'm going to think of the perfect matchup for him coming out of this Gamrot fight. What you thought about Quillan Salkild?
Impressive. He was my knockout of the year last year.
He was, yeah.
And
you said look out for him. He could be holding a belt at the end of the year. I think you said that. I could go back and verify.
I don't know if I said he'd be holding a belt at the end of the year, but I did say look out for him.
Yeah.
Striking was impressive as always. I think you're right. I think he's out if he stays on his feet. I don't think Gamrot had a lot for him. And to be honest with you, where he really impressed me though was that grappling. He was not going to give up to the knee bar. He did hurt something in there, but I don't think it was major. I was looking at it, and he talked about how he tweaked it. Something happened in his knee, but I don't think or his ankle. But he wasn't giving up on that. But he had so much confidence in his grappling against Gamrot. That he did a couple of things, figure 4 in his body, and being able to stay on top was actually impressive. And when he got too high on Gamrot there at the end, as soon as and it was a great move, very smooth. He just threw his hips back and jumped his weight back on him like that while still maintaining the rest of the position he had. And that's when he locked it in so he could get the submission. Very impressive movement. You can tell he spends a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time on the mats. And for somebody that has that much striking to have that much, grappling as well and that much confidence in it. He just beat somebody who's been up there hanging around the top of the division for a long time now. And he did it convincingly. I mean, yeah, Gamrot did have the knee bar on there, and he was trying to get that leg lock. And I thought for a second he had him. A lot of people will tap because they don't want their knee to get ripped up because that's going to put you out
Yeah.
for a long time. And I think he said if it was practice, that would have been it. But because it was in the fight, he kept going. And that is really what brought that damage on. But I thought Gamrot might have had him there for a minute. And as soon as he stayed calm and you could see him pushing to clear his knee out of there,
Mm-hmm.
you knew that okay, he's gonna survive this. And then you got to
I just
see,
loved the composure.
yeah. And I'll tell you, he had some brilliance there on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what belt he is in jiu-jitsu. I haven't looked that up, but I can tell you he's good.
Give him a black one.
Um,
Whatever it is, give him
he
a
might
black
already
one.
be. He might already be. It wouldn't surprise me.
If he's not, give him one.
But you can tell that he spends a lot of time there. He's got really quality game there. He would have probably 99% of the people on this earth hemmed up. So I say give him a top 5 fighter. Who did you find?
It's tough. It's tough. And I want to credit, I don't know if he watches the pod or anything, but I might post this clip. The first place I saw this matchup on there was this guy I used to work with. His name is Braden. He was a staff I worked with at 9th Avenue. I'm kind of outing where I work at. Oops. But
Yeah, edit that out.
he said give him Max Holloway. I don't think Max Holloway wants to fight down at this point in his career. But as I look up the list, Mateusz was 6. And Salkilld was 9. If you want a highlight moment, give him Benoit Saint Denis. I think Renato Moicano has an Ortega fight coming up. Yep, September 19th. And on that same card, you have Arman Sarukian versus Ruffy. So those guys are lined up to fight.
I'd like to talk about that fight eventually. Maybe not tonight.
Yeah, we got to get on here and do some previews. We definitely need to get on here and do some previews because that's been announced. Charles is going through a moment of mourning right now, so he's not available. Losing one of his close friends and gym partners unexpectedly. Ilya's healing. Justin's the champ. There's really one fight up, and it's Max. So I definitely want to give credit to Braden there because I was not thinking Max. And the more I look at the list, it's like it really is Max or fighting down. And if I'm Salkilld, I'm striking while the iron's hot, and I'm not fighting down. So yeah, it's Max versus Salkilld, which I love Max.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love Max against Salkilld. That dude that dude is a problem.
He is.
He's comfortable in both places.
After seeing his ground game, nah.
Yeah. Realistically, I'd want to see Salkilld versus Charles Oliveira. Realistically.
Yeah, I'd like to see that fight.
We won't get that right now. And I understand. And maybe we wait long enough to where Charles is in a good place. But I also don't want to be the first person standing across from Charles Oliveira when he gets back into the octagon either. He's a very emotional guy.
Yeah.
And I think in a positive way. So I think maybe that makes for a fantastic fight, right? But if I'm Salkilld, I'm going up, fighting up only. So
yeah,
you could wait for some stuff to happen. You could wait to see what happens between Benoit Saint Denis and Brian Ortega. If Ortega kind of takes Saint Denis spot, not Benoit Saint Denis, my bad. Renato Moicano versus Brian Ortega, right? Is that the fight I said that was coming up? Yeah, you can see what comes out of that one, and maybe. If Ortega jumps you ask for Ortega. If Renato wins convincingly, you knock Renato off as just, somebody you could get to while you wait for something. You could wait for Charles to be in a better headspace, do that. But realistically, if you're making it in the next 4 months, I think it's probably more likely than not it would be Max Holloway.
What do you think about Paddy?
No.
Why?
If I'm Paddy, I'm not doing anything outside of Ilya's comeback fight. If Gaethje won't fight him,
that's a good point. That's a good point. But are you going to wait for him? Are you going to pull a?
I mean, you just finished BSD in like 15 seconds, 19 seconds, whatever it was, right? You choked him out, got him out of there quickly. You're riding hot. the last person to fight the champ and make it all 5 rounds and show that you're tough enough to kind of hang in there with one of the strongest punchers in the division. Your stock went up based on him getting champion. Right? Like, I don't want Arman because they bring Arman back to fight somebody who's at the back end of the top 10, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's weird to me. I don't like that matchup.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it, but
yeah,
it was gonna be, look, to not skip too far ahead. I'm almost certain it was Charles Arman too.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true.
And then you have to pivot, right?
Yeah, because I actually heard that too. I heard that he probably had to back out of that fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ruffy is a great matchup for Arman. So if you're like trying to make it up to Arman, he's great in regards to if you could get him on the ground.
Yeah,
I don't think the fight goes very long with Arman versus Ruffy. Now, to engage with somebody that lengthy and that powerful, we could see, right? But I think more than anything, if I'm Paddy, money wise, we could do a lot more with Ilya. Career wise, if you were to go in there and win, it does a lot more for you than anybody in that top 5. To be the second guy to blemish his record.
Yeah.
The only thing is you're the second guy, so they're going to be like, Gaethje broke him. But more than anything, depending how you win that fight, you could propel yourself into a Gaethje rematch. Because this would probably be the fight that leads to the next title shot.
Yeah.
And you could do it in Madrid. Or you could do it in Liverpool. Or you could do it in a bigger stadium like at the O2 in London. Like, they can make this crazy financially for you and career-wise for you. So,
all right, I see your point. Point taken.
I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Because...
But I guess my question is, how long is too long? Because we saw what happened. I think if you make it out of the back end, if you make it out of quarter 1 of next year without there being like a fight announced, you have to move on. Yeah.
Because realistically, like, Gaethje just got beat in June. I mean, not Gaethje. Top just got beat in June.
Yeah, I'd almost say if the fight's not lined up by the end of the year.
Yeah. But I'm giving a little bit of extra grace because of how severe that beating was.
Well, that's why I said lined up.
Yeah. Like, you hear about a date, like, you'd want it to be announced quarter 4 of this year, probably proposed to be quarter 1 of next year. Like, open up the new year with, or February, March card with him on it.
I'd be okay with March. Right? Although I think it keeps him on the shelf a little too long. But, I mean, you're here where you're waiting for a title. And, I mean, you're in June, so you're not going to fight again until next March. I don't know. But I guess it depends on how bad he wants it. You know, Paddy wants that fight. So
I just think you don't get many opportunities to stumble into that top fight if you're Paddy.
Oh, no, that's true.
Like, this wasn't how it was supposed to happen. And you feel like, you know, based on what you just saw against Justin, that you held up better against him.
Yeah.
You fancy yourself as somebody who already thought you could beat Top.
Yeah.
And, like, I know his stock is not the highest, but that's still somebody who was decapitating legends a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Right? Laying down roses for his next fight.
Yeah,
and outside of Gaethje having, I guess, vibranium liver, like, you're talking about a guy who was in that fight potentially about to beat Gaethje again. Like, yes, he got dominated on the back end, but he had his top moment. It just didn't finish.
Yeah,
Gaethje. So I'm not shifting off of that fight if I'm Paddy. I'll wait. I like being fat, right? Isn't that what he said? He likes being fat outside of camp.
Paddy loves being fat.
Take a few months off to be fat and prepare for that top fight, which I would love to see in the Bernabeu in Spain. Real Madrid's home stadium. Transition it for a UFC fight. Top Paddy at the top. Have both tops fight on that card would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would
fight on that card too, because I think there's another guy with similar top tattoos that they could put on there as well. I forgot his name, but he's Spanish as well. Yeah, that's what I'd love to see, and I'd be all about it. But more than anything, shouts out to Quillan Salkild for a fantastic
very
fight.
Impressive.
Very
Get
impressive.
That top 5.
Gamrot out of there.
I wonder what they're going to put him.
Fight. Realistically, he should be top 5. But who do you remove from the top 5? So at minimum, they give him Gamrot spot at 6.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's the minimum.
Yeah, that's the minimum. He has to be at least 6. And like I said, that division's getting loaded.
You imagine if they jumped him over Paddy though?
If that happens, if it irks him enough, you could ask for like a Salkilld in Perth. Even though they already did a Perth card this year, or you could ask for like Salkilld beginning of next year because he's still on the up and up. And if you feel like he's too fresh to the game and there's things you could take advantage of, Paddy fancies himself a very good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Let's test it against Salkilld.
Yeah.
I don't like the matchup for Paddy. I'd probably go Salkilld on initial view, but I'd
His
be
striking
excited to
is
watch
better.
it. Who,
I think
Paddy's?
Salkild's striking is so much better than Paddy's.
Salkilld is way cleaner, and I think he sets his stuff up so much better.
His grappling might not be better, but his strikes are light years ahead of Paddy's, I feel like.
And not to give a preview, right? Because we're giving Paddy a lot of credit as a grappler, and I think we'll end on this note because we could keep going, right?
Yeah.
But we talk about Paddy the grappler. We have not seen very impressive moments from him grappling, I think, in his career in the UFC. He did what he did against BSD, but I think you give any rudimentary level grappler, obviously you wouldn't have gotten like the spider choke and like the creativity down there like that, but you give somebody the neck that easily, a lot of guys are going to finish BSD. The only other person we really seen him do something as effective like that against in the UFC was Bobby Green.
Yeah.
No offense to Bobby Green. He's not necessarily a ground specialist, right? Like, so like, is he better than Quillan on the ground? We don't know. I think the Gamrot test was a tougher test than anything Paddy passed so far. So like,
well, yeah, we don't know whose grappling is better. Paddy gets a little more of the accolades on that, but I think that's because Salkild's striking is so good.
Phenomenal. Yeah. For my own podcast, I wish he finished it by KO, but for the view and for what I learned, I'm glad he showed me he could do it.
Yep.
But it was a good card. Good couple cards. We'll see if we start getting back on track. Hopefully, we could do a preview of UFC 330, or at minimum, a preview of Gary Makachev. Because, like, you know,
we could definitely do 330.
Yeah,
that's not until the 15th, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so we'll plan something for a preview for at least the main event of that card because I have a take on the rest of it.
The rest of the card,
yeah, the rest of the card.
Okay.
Newsflash: I think Belgrade's card was better than what we're getting for the rest of this card.
I mean, I'm looking at it and
yeah, we'll talk about it for sure this week. I think we have some days that line up, so we'll get into it. Any closing thoughts, sir?
No, just highly impressed with
Highly impressed with Salkilld. Highly impressed with Salkilld.
Next fight is UFC 330, and then you got Fluffy Hernandez versus Rodriguez, RoboCop on the 22nd. Fluffy Hernandez against RoboCop. And
if I'm the UFC, I asked those guys if they could make weight, and I try to squeeze them under 330. But hey, what do I know?
That co-main is Sergey Spivak over fighting Petrino. So
I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, we'll talk about matchmaking.
Delete
is also on that too.
Is also on that. That's got
why are we not moving some stuff around?
Carly Judice versus Chavez is also on that.
Why are we not moving some stuff around?
This is a better card. This fight night is a better overall card than 330.
What are we doing? Anyway, what are we doing? I agree just based on what you read so far.
Yeah.
Right? No offense to the 330 fighters. We'll come on. We'll probably talk about a couple of those results and how we see it going. We'll definitely talk about Gary Makachev. But we need to talk about matchmaking and card making also, which might happen that pod as well. We'll see you guys hopefully later this week. Thank y'all for tuning into the podcast. We're getting closer to having all the streams lined up with these 1-for-1. Be patient with us, but we appreciate the support on both platforms, every platform that you tune in. But until next time, peace.
Later.